Hi guys, it's Tracy in Australia and I'm really excited to be able to share this journal that I finished yesterday with you. It has an enchanted forest theme and I just love how my cover has come out. So the construction is the same as I've done the tutorial for. That is fabric, and then I've layered a large doily over the top of that. This one is quite distressed. I cut the sides and I tea-dyed it and made it quite grungy as well. So on the front I've done lots of collaging centered around this beautiful photo of a painting from the late 1800s called the Fairie Queen, and I'll leave details of the artist in the description box. So around that I've done lots of collaging, and I started off with creeper cloth, which I've dyed various green and bronze colours. Then I've added these gorgeous velvet oak leaves, some artificial fern, and some berry pips, some other berries, a bottle of fairy dust of course, and a brass charm of a mushroom. Now I just want to show you this amazing trim that I've added in a couple of places as well. It looks so realistic and mossy. It's just gorgeous, and I'm going to show you what it looks like on the roll. For those of you from Australia, I got it from Spotlight in the florist department. So it's obviously something that is used by people when they're doing flower arranging or making topiaries and things. So I just love how that came out, and I've used it actually on some of the pages of the journal as well. So my tie is some gorgeous green sari silk, and that matches the trim that I've added to the large tags that are in the journal. So I want to apologize for my voice. I'm getting over the flu, and it's kind of sapped a lot of my energy. So 2 signatures. The journal measures about 8 by 5.5. 8 folded pages in total, but lots of pockets and lots of tags and cards. So everything has been hand torn by me and tea-dyed and distressed with Tim Holtz ink. And yeah, let's get into it. So some cards and tags. There's just one large pocket here. I absolutely loved this image, and the flower crown that's on the deer's head and the flowers that are on the antlers. So I embellished those a bit with glossy accent and some gold foil and some glitter. And I also put, this is a top loading pocket, and there's a large tag in that. I love those berries, and I've put a bit of foil on there as well in a kind of coppery colour. There's a little sewn book down here that's glued on, and just some little journaling space in there. So on the back I've used, just making sure I'm in frame, vintage music paper, and then 2 pockets. So I've used 2 digital kits in this journal, one from Artymaze called Mushrooms and Ferns, and one from a new lady that I found on Etsy called, her shop is Musings by Nikki. I can't remember the name of her kit, but I will leave it in the description box. So I'm not going to go through where everything comes from, just that it is basically from those 2 people, and it can be that I've used their things individually or fussy cut and added them together. So I actually added this tissue paper as well. It's actually a quilter's product. It's like quilt and tear, so it's actually a bit stronger than normal tissue paper. And onto the tea-dyed pages I've also added perfect pearls in green patina, and I really like how that came out, because obviously I wanted this journal to be kind of like green and foresty. So here's this gorgeous frog and some mushrooms down here. These are actually from Calico Collage. I used some of her mushrooms on, fussy cut those and added them as decoration. You can see I've got some of that moss down there. and it just really adds dimension to the pages. Up here there's a little pocket for an envelope, and that of course has some journaling paper in it, and there are 2 pockets. I think I'm going to sneeze, people, just excuse me if that happens. Library card with some decoupaging of a napkin onto it, and here is the most beautiful photo of a painting by an artist called Anster Fitzgerald, and he did lots of paintings with fairies. This one also has a hare in it. I will leave his details in the description box, and the paintings are just beautiful. This is an envelope from Musings by Nikki. I could add something to that later, I'm not sure. Maybe a little booklet with extra writing space. Gorgeous owl wearing a crown, some more mushrooms. Love these botanicals. And in this little pocket, there's a little oval tag of a leaf. Love the colour. And this little glassine envelope contains some fairy wings that I made. I used a stamp by Lavinia Stamps and embossing powder, and hit it with the heat gun. So there's 3 sets of wings in there, some green ones and some opaque ones, and these beautiful blue ones. So I thought that was something pretty cute to add. A little bit of stamping. This is the middle, and I've got some glittery unicorns on the strings. Lavinia stamp. Large tag, and here I've added a little secret pocket with an envelope, and there is some journaling paper in that. Put some gold foil onto the dragonfly's wings, and in this pocket is another tag, and just added that tab to that to make it easy to get out. And over the back, we've got the vintage music paper, this gorgeous hare, a mushroom, and a little bird sitting on top of that. Another of the Anster Fitzgerald paintings, and these are some fairies sitting in a bird's nest. Card that I've stamped with my postcard stamp. Little tag that I've made by putting a tab on the top of it, and a little quote from C.S. Lewis that says, "Someday you will be old enough to start reading fairy tales again." So I thought that was quite appropriate. And I actually do like to read fantasy novels, so I do relate to that. This is an example how I've mixed the 2 kits. This is fussy cut from Musings by Nikki, and the pages are from Artymaze. So you can see that the tag was made from an offcut of one of the pages, and a gorgeous botanical. And in here, I've put one of the envelopes that I made recently, and this was inspired by Annalise from Annalise Journaling on YouTube. And I just love the envelopes that she makes, and really enjoy watching her videos. And she actually does a craft along one with the envelopes. So into that I've popped some of this tissue paper that I've stamped with a gorgeous Lavinia stamp of a little mushroom house. I'm just going to leave that. Here we have 2 pockets. Into the bottom one is a little piece of ephemera and some tickets that I've made with an offcut and a stamp. Large tag as a postcard, and 2 additional tags. So that's the end of the first signature, and this is the beginning of the second one. And again, you can see that I've used the moss down here. It just really adds, it's so textile, I love it. So a tag that I've made, and I've used some gold foil on the wings of the dragonfly, another library card that I've decoupaged, little booklet that I've made using an ephemera piece from Artymaze, and just added in some spare paper and some little words stamped onto there as well. And into that side pocket, another envelope. So there are 4 envelopes and 4 large tags. Here you can see that beautiful moss again. So a little pocket here with some gorgeous mushrooms, tag from Graphics Fairie, my other little glassine envelope with my fairy wings that I've made. Now this is a card that I made by downloading a page from Pixabay. I just love the fairy lights. In Australia we would call those min-min lights. I'm not sure what Europeans call them. And a tag that I've made, manila folder, vintage music paper, and decoupage from a napkin onto that. There's also a large tag in the top, and I've added a die cut of a fairy to that. So everything's been sewn around with green thread, and I like how that turned out. Here's another little quote that says, "When we are young, we read and believe the most fantastic things." And how true is that? So a bit of glossy on that butterfly. Those mushrooms are from Calico Collage, and you can see that I've added some of the moss down there. So here I've made a little booklet using a piece from Musings by Nikki, and I love that graphic, and just added some very fine paper into that. And another little tag. Center with the unicorn on the strings. And here, little pocket with another little envelope and some cards that I've made. So this one is feathers, and that's actually a Kaisercraft paper. Fussy cut from Musings by Nikki, and there Artymaze added a butterfly, and that one flips open. So as I said, lots of tags, and in the side there is another of my envelopes that I've made. And into that also some tissue paper with a gorgeous stamp of a fairy door on it. So 3 pockets here, 2 small ones and then that side one. That pops into that first little pocket that says whimsical. Made a little tag by adding that tab. Just a little scrappy piece of paper, but it looks great. Another of the John Anster Fitzgerald paintings. This one is fairies attacking a robin. Don't know whether they want the nest or the eggs, but they're up to no good. And tag with postcard on the back of it that I've stamped. And I'm not sure that you'll be able to see, but on these mushrooms I actually added German glass glitter and a little bit of the fake moss down there. So there's a pocket there, and you could definitely put more things in that. And then up here we've got several tags and another little pocket at the top, and I fussy cut around that maidenhair fern so that it creates a little point of interest at the top there. So a little tag that I've made, another one that's a bit darker, and this is my final pocket on the back with 3 tags that I've made in that. This is actually an Artymaze one. Alright, so there's my Enchanted Forest journal. I hope that you've enjoyed looking at it. If you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to send me a message. I love talking to you, and yeah, I'll catch you again soon.